before I do what usually happens, which is I don't realise for like 5 minutes. Dora, get out of the way of the screen. I can't see the screen. So the projector has a cutout, so if it detects something in front of it, it goes black or really, really, really dim. So Dora keeps on standing in front of it. Did I leave the air conditioning button on the other side of the room? Yes, I did. Back in a mo. Because I have a funny feeling, no matter how warm or cold it is in here, once you're in VR, I kind of want the cold blowing on me. Oh, Dora, get out of the way, you silly bear. Do we have sound then? 1 2 1 2 3. Ba 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 ba, making noises. There's someone called Jexra. Dora, what are you doing? Don't get me wrong, I love Dora to bits and I wouldn't change it for the world. But she's trying to play with the mouse cursor.
I am hearing DJ's voice on the stream.
Cool. Oh wow, this guy's some laggy.
And I'm hearing myself very echoing on the stream.
Nothing's changed. It's the same. I think what happens, I think it gets a bit better once it once there's sound from the game. I think. Because last time we had that issue with the echo, and I spent ages trying to fix it, and I went, oh, it's fine. And then I listened back to the stream, and basically the issue just went away. So, right, let's get all the VRs on. Yeah, cable's caught up, don't want that. So my upgrade for my motion platform has arrived. It is the biggest box I have ever seen, and I've not opened it yet, because it is a two-man job. Just wait for the headset to boot up. Hey Dora. Dora, psst, psst, psst. Why are you like this? Come on, headset. Oh, I didn't turn it on. I just brought up the display. Right, there we go. It's booting. I've just realised my chair's not... Ah, there we go.
Chair's not moving?
No, I forgot to. I wasn't in a car. Would you do it? Feel free to say duh at me, because... okay, view 3D. Okay, it's ref right. 100%. There's always that first moment when you get into VR. I've not been in VR in, I don't know, a week or something. And you get in, it's just like, oh, looks so good. There's a new headset on the market as well, the Vario, I think it is. And everyone's ranting about that one. That's now the new king of clarity. They have a new type of lens. It's higher resolution. I don't know what the hell you'd use. I mean, I struggle to run this headset on a 2080 Ti on Live for Speed. You know, at the detail I want. The new headsets, oh, I don't know, 30% more pixels, but it's for designed for sort of flight sims, really, rather than anything else. But it's not cheap, not at all.
Mic check, mic check.
No. Oh, you actually sound quite good.
We'll see if it lasts.
I'm just saying I've not been in VR in a little while. And it's like, oh, it's so good. It's like I've just got into a car and I'm driving it around.
I know what you mean, but I've been in VR every day.
Oh. Wrong track. I came out the pits in the wrong direction.
I've been
Even
playing
an
quite a bit of
indicator and all.
playing a lot of VR poker and enjoying that, but I've been playing this game called Population 1, which is like it's kind of like Fortnite but with adults. So it's actually quite good.
What makes it for adults game?
It just happens that kids don't seem to like it, and so everyone that's in voice chat seems to be like a grown-up person that is just trying to play the game properly, not getting all bent out of shape or swearing.
So a battle royale like PUBG or what?
Yeah, it really similar, but in VR, of course, and streamlined to get rid of a lot of the nonsense. So just a bunch of different guns, shields. You have to boost up your shield as you go, and there's sort of health over time and shield over time, pickups and weapons, and that's about it. And you can fly, so you can climb and fly, so you can climb up any vertical surface with your arms. And then just stick your arms out to fly, to glide. It's really good.
Oh, that does sound odd. Practice? What on earth? Just yeah. What?
Chicken road practice.
Okay, just hit end race. Someone's been messing it because when no one's in the server, they can vote to change things. They've obviously twiddled with it. Oh yeah, practice. No. Race 5 laps. Okay, whoever else is changing it, I will kill you.
Let's see if this wants to play ball today. I've been looking at graphics cards periodically, and it's just, there aren't any. Not unless you want to pay stupid money.
Why does someone keep changing it back? Or is... Like, I'm trying to change it. Every time I change it, there we go. Thank you. Don't roll. Okay. Thanks. Why would you join somebody else's server and then put it into practice mode? People are odd.
Abandoned stuff will get repurposed.
So if all goes according to plan, I should buy my first EV tomorrow.
Nice.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Well, so I went in. I've been umming and ahhing at trading in my bike, and I went into my local bike dealer, said who are an EV dealer, to pick up a specific one. And they don't do them anymore. So I'm gonna get a Zero, but they have it's a Zero. It's this year's. It's 12 grand, which is way more than I'd ever think about paying for a bike. Just forget it. That's ridiculous. But it's a Cat D write-off, and they're about to get this year's model in. So it's down to 6 grand, and they'll give me a 4.5 on my current bike, which is actually slightly more than I paid for it. So I'm looking at getting an electric bike for 1,500 quid, which is bargain.
Yeah.
I've just got to the point where I can't. Maybe I'm getting old, I don't know, but I can't use my motorbike. I'm using. If I'm genuinely prattling about and showing off, I might use a third throttle. So I'm looking at this new bike, going, oh, it's so much slower, but I never open my bike up. I can't. I'll kill myself or somebody else. It's not a sane bike. Whereas this one, I should be able to thrash it, and it be within the realms of legality.
Hopefully completely inside.
So down a slip road on my current bike, if I booted down a slip road, I could be doing 150 plus by the end of the slip road. So, I can't open it up. I mean, I just can't, law aside, I'm going to end up a splat if anything goes wrong. So, I've just...
It's almost like the laws are there for a reason.
Wow. Don't think for a moment our speed limits are anything to do with safety, by the way, because that's not why we have them.
Then why do you have them?
Why are our speed limits the speed limits they are? Twofold. We lost the unlimited speed limit after a campaign by the Daily Mail.
Sorry, Adam, just one second. You just changed the... That was not what... Shall crashed your question.
Yeah.
You repeated
no,
a different question.
No, hold on. I'll explain why our speed limits are what they are. So the first reason we used to have a limited speed limit on the motorway, and that got lost after a campaign by the Daily Mail in the late 60s. And our speed limits came down to 80, and they went down to 70 to improve car fuel efficiency during the fuel crisis of the early 70s, and never came back. So there's no safety involved. It was simply done for that. And they said they put it back, and they never did. And this was early 70s. But I'm talking about motorways, I'm not talking about other towns. But yeah, all our speed limits are bizarrely arbitrary, to the point that you can, across Europe, you can stick on the same road and the speed goes from 110 to 120 to 110 to 130 to unlimited to 110, and you haven't changed road. It just depends what country you're in and what they determine is safe. The whole thing's very odd. I'm a firm believer in driving to conditions.
Yeah, so the last bit of that is the telling bit. It's what they consider safe. So that's why we have them.
Well, that's
what someone considers safe.
That's why France, Belgium, Holland and Germany might have it, but it's not like England have got 70 miles an hour. There's no safety consideration in that. Fuck my clutch. But as I said, as a younger man, you could really razz down the motorways and get away with it. These days, you're very unlikely to. Smart motorways everywhere. You know, the fun of belting it down the M1 at 3 in the morning has diminished slightly, unfortunately. And there's no way I'd ever take my current motorbike on track. I've already crashed one, so maybe it's because I'm getting old. Maybe I'm just not quite so.
You're so old, you decided to stick to the law.
No, it's not that bad. It's just that I generally get the itch to get some G-forces out of my system on racetrack, but not on a bike. Like I said, it's more fun to drive a slow vehicle fast than a fast vehicle slow. And I have the fastest of the fast vehicles today. But I opened it up on the way back from the dealer, going, and it's the scare to fun factor is a bit too far into scary. And as I said, if I open it up, I'm hitting about a third throttle and going, this is very fast.
Well, I just find my appetite for risk in the real world gradually declines as I get older. I think that's pretty universal, and there's quite a tight correlation between speed and risk. So I think it's pretty normal to slow down as you age.
Well, I'm keeping it then.
Otherwise, there'd be lots of 70 and 80-year-olds being done for speeding all the time.
Well, as I said, the most dangerous group of motorbikers is the young ones, the under 21s. But the second biggest one is people upwards of 60, and they are invariably the ones with the money. So they used to drive a 50cc bike as a young man, retired, hit the midlife crisis, whatever, gone out and bought a 200 horsepower superbike, and not lasted a couple of miles. It's a surprisingly large number.
Yeah, well, because your reaction speed slows a little bit as well.
Yeah, it's more that I mean, I can't put into words genuinely how performant this bike is. It is genuinely insane. But if you're used to something that you can open it up all the way, and you open it up, you're just going to put it into a hedge. There's no, ooh, that's a bit sketchy. It's, why can I see my own arm in front of my face?
Yeah, but also, how well you can use it is going to kind of peak at some point, and then you're going to stop getting better at being on it and start getting worse.
Yes. But as I said, I progressed up through bikes, up from a slow to a medium to a fast bike, and when I got on my Ninja for the first time, I mean, I'd already been riding 5-6 years. I felt like I just got onto a learner legal bike again. I felt like I was a learner getting onto a normal sized bike. And I remember after having passed my test perfectly successfully, I got on my Cruiser. It was an 800cc bike, 50 horsepower, for the first time, and I felt like the bike went for a ride, and I just held on for dear life. I did not feel particularly in control of the bike because it's alien and it's big, and you've got to practice somewhere. And I got better at it, and then I get this much bigger bike, and it felt like the same again. It's just this insane thing. Whereas I got on the electric bike, and of course it's batteries, so the batteries are down low. It's less than half the weight of my current bike, and I'm like, oh, this is very nice. So yeah, I'll take it for a test ride tomorrow, and if I don't massively hate it, which I don't think I will, I shall say goodbye to clutchless shifting forever.
And then you're also polluting only what the electric grid is doing?
Yes, which in the UK is 3% coal on average. It's very little. And I'm with, who am I with? Am I with Octopus? I can't remember. I'm definitely on a green tariff, a primarily renewable tariff, which is important. And the best thing is, I mean, the Ninja is 16 quid for a full tank. This thing is £1. And cheaper tyres and cheaper insurance and no road tax and no maintenance. Because I had to get the wheel bearing fixed in the Ninja early this year, and that was 400 quid. So, I'm excited. And then at some point, my electric car, I'm keeping an eye on the app because I don't know when I'm going to get it yet. But what will happen apparently is the car will turn up on the app when they stick the computer in the chassis and give it power for the first time. It'll immediately connect and I will see it, and then I can follow it through the rest of the process. But it's about a month on the boat from Shanghai, unfortunately. What are we waiting for anyway? There's no one driving. I just realised there's no one on the track.
There was a lot of flipping going on.
Yeah, I wrecked my clutch again. Clutches. It's like the Dark Ages.
Oh no.
What?
There's someone behind me, and I can see. There. Now I can see all the cars.
No, everyone's in front.
Squirrely.
Next step, don't hit the cars.
Just in case anyone decides to, I have one episode left on the Squid Game, so I do not wish any spoilers.
Me neither. I'm on like episode 5 at the moment.
Oh no! Oh, okay. I'm not saying anything. But yeah, the Squid Game has been fantastic. I'm just a bit.
Yeah, it's basically reminds me of Cube a little bit.
Oh yes. Have you seen both Cube sequels? They're not very good,
yeah,
but they do exist.
I like them. I liked that they existed.
Yes, it's no. I like the slightly weird. There's a whole bunch of films like it, like slightly weird torture films. I don't know quite how it's.
Have you seen Circle?
Yes, I didn't like it because that has stuff stabbed in people's eyes, and that's one of the few things I don't get on with.
Was it? Don't remember that. Hang on, we're talking about the same film.
They're all sitting in like a black room in a circle with lights flashing on them. And they have to solve puzzles or something. It's a bit like Saw.
Well, half of that was right. I mean, they're standing.
Okay.
They're in a circle, but the clue's in the title. There are flashing lights, but they have to vote.
Yes, but certainly someone got stabbed in the eye.
But there's no games or anything like that. People just get eliminated by the vote. There's almost no other. There's no effects or anything like that. It's pure dialogue and.
Was there no violence?
And people.
I remember the film, but my only overwhelming memory is someone got stabbed in the eye with needles, and I don't like that. It's
I
been
don't think
a
it's
while.
that long ago that I watched it. That I'm completely misremembering it. I think people just disappear when the lights get off. Kind of get dragged off, basically. There's only one way that they get eliminated, and gradually, by talking, the contestants figure out how it works, what the rules are.
So what do you think the next game's going to be in Squid Games then? I
Well,
haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I'm in the middle of one.
Oh, right, yes. Oh, yes. I swore very loudly at the screen when that episode ended halfway through the game. Like, you can't do that.
Oh, are you talking about the rope?
Yes.
Yeah, I laughed.
What?
I was watching. I was up late watching it, and I thought, oh, I've absolutely, because I keep watching it in fits and starts. I got no idea how far through the playhead was, and I was tempted to go, oh, I wonder how, it's quite late. I wonder how far through this episode I am. But I resisted the temptation because I thought, oh, I'd rather not know how far through it is.
Yeah.
And then they went into another game, and so I was like, oh, I must be not very far through this episode then. And as you say, it ended, and and I was like, ha!
It's a very
oh, this is great.
it's a very odd thing to do. That's the sort of thing you do when something is but as a weekly serial.
Well, exactly. That's
not
exactly what I started thinking about.
In a
Yeah,
binge-watchable show.
yeah,
I
that was. I thought, well, this would make a great, weekly TV show because everyone would be going, oh my god, I've got to wait all week. But I could have just clicked next.
Yes.
But I didn't. I went to bed instead, so I still enjoyed ending there.
I don't know if you remember Breaking Bad particularly well, but at the end of series 2 or 3.
No, I only watched about 3 episodes.
Oh, blimey. Oh, there's a fantastic cliffhanger at the end of a season, but thankfully I was a couple of years behind, so I'm like, no, it's about 1 in the morning, so I basically went from the end of season 2 to getting to season 3 going, there's no way I am leaving myself on the cliffhanger. Thank goodness I didn't have to wait a year for the next season to kick off.
Yes, I know, it hasn't been that good of a cliffhanger since Harold disappeared in Neighbours.
End of Lost season 1, I'd say is up there with the all-time greats. It's a shame they never made any more seasons of that, because the first season was good.
Is it though?
The first season is fantastic, absolutely brilliant, and then it did not carry that momentum through.
It got lost.
Haha.
It's kind of easy to make a good start if you don't have to finish it well.
Well, apparently what happened is they were asked to stretch it out from 3 seasons to 5, and then they kind of went, and then they started like rewriting the script on the day of filming, and it all became a bit.
They weren't sure how to finish it, probably. Could just shoot your director of photography, that ends it pretty quick.
Oh, is that who got shot? I noticed. I didn't know what her role was.
I really think Mr. Baldwin is not going to have a good time with the amount of Trump supporters in the world, because it's him that has played Trump as on SNL, sending him right up for a long time.
Yes, well, I mean, in this case,
he's not popular with half the country.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be responsible. It's not his responsibility. That's the weapons master.
Like that matters.
Is in deep shit.
Have you met the internet?
Well, yeah, but I mean, so what? Alec Baldwin's probably not on Twitter. He's about 70 or something.
Well, I doubt he's going to be hang around to find out what Twitter says, if he's got any sense.
Hey, new personal
Not going to be
best.
pretty.
100th of a second faster. I'm getting the hang of properly throwing this car around, seeing my pants around the corners.
Well, I consider it +1 for my feeling that all guns are bad. Get rid of guns.
Yeah.
Bad.
I mean, we brought up the discussion about the Brandon Lee, because he said that was a blank that didn't separate from its shell casing. It was like it didn't blank.
Well, we looked it up last time. We discussed it, didn't we?
But this was a live round, apparently. There should be no live rounds anywhere on the set. I said I watched a very, very good talk by the weapons master. She did stuff like Game of Thrones, and she was talking about it. Like, actors are not allowed near sharp weapons at any point under any circumstance. That's and you don't have bullets on the set ever. You should have not, unless there's a reason. It shouldn't even have a firing pin. So yeah, something's certainly gone a bit Would be. And hopefully it's not something horrific like they tried to set Alex Baldwin up because they're a pro-Trump supporter or something.
Oh God, I hadn't even thought of that.
Well, as I said, there should be no ammunition on the set. That's not
Yeah,
a thing.
Look up the Brandon Lee thing again.
Yeah,
Because
but-
last time it was misremembered.
Yeah, no, yeah, because I mean that was a blank that still killed them, wasn't it? Not live. I thought it was
Well,
live.
I think that's what you thought it was last time. Then
No.
we looked it up and it wasn't.
No,
so,
I thought
but I'm not going to commit until I've looked it up again because I
No,
can't remember.
I thought it was live ammo, and it turned out not to be. But now I'm wondering if I'm misremembering what I was misremembering.
I think you are. But the good news is that's on YouTube, so you can check both of those things.
I don't want to see him get shot. Thanks.
You remembering it won't.
Right, I see.
See you remember it. Yeah, that's just be in your head. Thankfully, stay there. Well, I had a good start.
Oh yeah, but you crashed, so you can go and look it up.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Let me do that.
Then again, I'm so close to Shaka. If he pulls up, second place is up for easy grabs. Oh, yep. Shaka's
Wow.
Shaka spiked it up impressively. And so did Junebug.
I have been watching Picard and Star Trek Lower Decks.
I really like Picard. I don't care what the internet says. I thought Lower Decks was too full of annoying characters with no redeeming features. It's a shame 'cause I wanted to like it because I find the same people as Final Space, but I just found all the characters irritating rather than having a comic relief character. They were all like, why have you not all been kicked out of Starfleet?
Right, the reason we couldn't remember is because it's a bit more nuanced than either of those two options. So the prop gun, which was a real revolver, was loaded with improperly made dummy rounds, cartridges from which the special effects crew had removed the powder charges, so in close-ups the revolver would show normal-looking ammunition. However, the crew neglected to remove the primers from the cartridges. At some point before the fatal event, one of the rounds had been fired. Although there was no powder charges, the energy from the ignited primer was enough to separate the bullet from the casing and push it partway into the gun barrel where it got stuck, a condition known as the squib load. For the fatal scene, which called for the revolver to be fired at Lee from a distance of 12 to 15 feet, the dummy cartridges were replaced with blank rounds which contained the powder charge and the primer, but no solid bullets,
So
allowing the
shut
gun
the
to be
squib out.
fired with sound and flash effects without the risk of a natural projectile. However, the gun was not properly checked and cleared before the blank round was fired, and the dummy bullet previously lodged in the barrel was then propelled forward by the blank and shot out the muzzle with almost the same force as if the round were live.
Yeah.
Hit him in the belly.
I'm disturbed that no one checked that. We used to have a lot of very realistic looking airsoft guns and very, very realistic stuff when we were on Flashpoint for reference. And I didn't even like those being pointed at me. You know, there's no gas canister, there's no ammunition. I'm like, still, please don't just point that at me. And if you are going to point it at me, absolutely make sure everything is fine.
Part of the reason for using flashing, banging things, I think this was on an episode of Corridor Crew, was because you can use just visual effects and just use dummy guns and put the flashes and bangs in later, but you don't get good reaction from the actors unless there's something going bang right next to their face.
Yeah.
It gives you a much better cinematic shot. So that's why directors might choose to use different props.
That was good, man.
But
If you
was
do
it?
gun culture proper, you would always treat guns as dangerous. But if you did not have gun culture, you would not include guns in your production.
Well,
you might.
pure conjecture, but my first guess was that perhaps he was horsing around and pointed out or pretended to shoot it at the director of photography as someone who's not sensible with guns might do. and then instantly regretted it.
Well, he might have supposed to have shot something with just a blank towards the camera. So he might have been shooting at the camera, and not obviously you wouldn't have had. You'd only have a flashbang in there rather than a real round. But yeah,
that is true. Although
terrifying.
director of photography doesn't have to be behind the camera these days because they're digital and they can be somewhere else with a screen.
Yes. Well, maybe she was somewhere else with the screen, and that's very.
When the director was like, "For this shot, I'd like you to pretend to shoot the director of photography." And what about the guy that got injured as well? Was that a ricochet or?
Oh
who
really?
knows?
I hadn't heard about that. I'm saying it's
Yeah,
very odd.
yeah. One person killed, another person sent to hospital.
Did he accidentally throw the gun at the second guy?
Don't know. I mean, maybe it just something exploded.
Oh shit! That's a wall. Oh dear, that's broken car. I was just catching up on Junebug. I got the hang of this car.
I got to restart quite freshly, so...
Don't wreck the clutch, and it's easy.
So virtual desktop, which is what I use for streaming to the Quest, has had a little update and it's now got some sharpening algorithms. It looks really good.
Oh, is it the AMD one? That's got very good CAS. It's very, very good. Contrast adaptive sharpening.
Let's have a look. Let's look at the setting because it's on the Quest client. It's called sharpening. Yes, it is. Improves image quality through a contrast adaptive sharpening algorithm. So maybe it is.
That's what SnowRunner uses, and that's part of the reason it looks so good. Is the anti-aliasing blurs it, and then the CAS brings it back into sharpness, but without any sparkles.
Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with this. Yeah, it's like night and day difference from how it was looking to me before. Everything that was sort of not in the immediate foreground before was just blur.
I'm still very pleased with this update I've got to the Oculus, the headband. Although it's definitely not as comfortable as the G2. It's such an improvement over the stock one. What's the other one? Oh yeah, I was saying there's a new bad boy in town for VR headsets. Even more field of view, even more resolution.
That's what I want next.
Much better lenses. Well, the problem is, I'm not sure what's going to run it. I struggle to run the G2 at native res. I really do on a 3070, and this thing's got 3080. Sorry, and this thing's got even more resolution. It's like, well, that's well and good, but I've treated the G2 as it's not quite an investment as such, but a bit future-proofed because I can't.
Time will solve it.
Yeah. Well, depends if the video card market sorts itself out. As you are a streaming boy, are you aware of the new? It's got a fancy name. GeForce Now tier.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm grandfathered into the founder's price, so I get it for £4.15 a month. So I'm not going to be budging off that tier.
Gotcha. Because this was 120 hertz, which means that the latency has gone down even further. So they're now basically saying that you get less button-to-photon latency at 120 hertz than you do on a local console at 60.
I think I can get 120 hertz with Founders. I can certainly get it on the Shadow PC anyway.
Apparently this is a new thing that tells. I don't know quite what the details. I saw it read it and went, oh.
Just going back to the strap, did you put the top strap on your Bobo?
I do have the top strap on my Bobo. It came on. Oh, the extra straps. I've got two hard straps above my head. Is there a third one? There was another piece of something, but I didn't put that on.
Yeah. No, I didn't. So I was just relying on those two sort of like things that sit on top of your head.
Yeah.
But then I decided to try with the top strap because I was getting a bit annoyed with it sort of slipping down, so it wasn't maintaining the optimum vertical position relative to my eyes, and that seems to have helped with that.
Yeah. No, I am very pleased with it. It is a substantial difference, and I like the non-foam gasket. I prefer the feel of it on my face, the silicone.
I do, yeah, definitely. It's still not as comfy as the PSVR, but that's the gold standard.
Yes, the PSVR was very good. I think for me it's a toss-up between the PSVR and the G2. Quest, Oculus, CV1, Rift, they're all like, not very. The G2, the Odyssey Plus was very good. But I've let mine out.
The ones that just elastic to your face are awful.
Yes. Yeah, Halo strap is good. Except apart from the G2, I said the thing with the G2 is you realise it's a 700 quid headset, not a 300 quid headset. It is substantially better built, and it does fit on nicely. And it's got these spring-loaded straps on the front. It really, really feels good. But you know, it's like saying, well, actually, yes, this Ferrari does go better than a Fiat 500. Shaka is right up my arse again.
Not very close yet.
You've just come onto the straight, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't far behind.
I can see you occasionally.
Well, I'm getting personal best after personal best here. Ooh, drifting.
Not by doing that, you won't.
Yeah, hopefully the electric bike means I'll stop worrying about when the Tesla's going to arrive.
No, you won't.
I will, I'll try. Basically, not your average bikes. My local bike dealer said they are very, very, very heavily into EVs. They're the only zero in energy dealer for many, many miles around. And they've got an e-Golf, and the owner's just bought a Model 3 Performance, so we spent quite a lot of time chatting with him about that. What was that? Was that Shaka putting it to a wall?
Yeah, then rolling it.
Less haste, more speed.
Let's see whether my landmine will get me crashed and maybe upside. Nope.
I'll give you a roll. Never mind, I won't then. No, I have been watching, there's a YouTube channel called Wham Bam Tesla Cam, and on the Tesla, when you beep the horn, it records the last 10 minutes as recorded by all of the cameras all the way around. So there are an enormous amount of Tesla-related dash cam videos out there, and they sort of put them all together. Road rage, people crashing, cutting up Teslas avoiding stuff that people didn't even notice, all sorts of things. It fills me with quite a lot of confidence that the car is quite good. And a lot of people saying, you know, when they noticed the issue, you know, the car, the crash, whatever, they went to slam their foot on the brake to find the brake pedal was already fully depressed because the computer had got there before them.
Yeah, there was a clip that I really liked showing people where a Tesla had slammed on the brakes well before the car in front stopped or crashed or something, and the reason was because the Tesla had seen through the car in front to the vehicle in front of that and seen its lights had come on and it was slowing. So the car in front crashed and the Tesla had already stopped before the car in front crashed.
Yes, obviously, I mean, I'll have the hardware to do full self-driving, but having been an early adopter of tech many times, this is not one I want to necessarily do. But I can't remember when it was. I think Tesla have got 2 billion miles of autopilot stuff driven, and I don't know how two-way the system is, but they do all sorts of metrics and things on, you know, there's stuff fed back from your car to do with autopilot. They're doing a fantastic job of that. So Waymo, actually. but Waymo aren't in the UK, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, although I'll want one when I'm much older and don't feel like driving at all, and I'll might get like the newest hardware platform to go with it, because otherwise it'd be a bit like, and you can future-proof them to a degree, but it's like you can run the latest iOS on a iPhone 6, but
yeah,
I wouldn't want to.
Well, in this
run
case,
it on
the fun part is I think we're on Autopilot Hardware v3, and you can buy the hardware. Like you just pull out the old computer and put the new in it. The cameras don't change, but the computer is a lot more powerful because obviously it's several years newer. So that's they have thought about it, at least to a degree.
But are they going to keep? That is really good. Yeah, I wonder, are they going to keep sort of retrofitting stuff, because they're going to have to survive as a business. They might need to think about letting some of the older stuff go eventually.
The thing is, I mean, something I've mentioned before, and I feel, and I don't feel this is massively controversial, but to a great degree, brand loyalty and repeat custom is more important than profit right now. Like, give you a non-car example, my local Chinese was amazing. It was cheap, massive containers stuffed with food, and then after a while we would sometimes get the containers only like 80% full, and I'm looking at it going, well, you've saved yourself threepence here, but from my point of view, I'm like, you know what, I might order from somebody else. So Tesla have, because they're doing things like this, got some insane brand loyalty, and that is, it's fairly, oh, good lord. Whoa!
Wow!
Ricochet.
Just reminded me, we would order from the same pizza place, have done for ages, and really liked them. And then one day the pizzas came, and they definitely looked smaller. So I phoned the place up, and I was like, why are the pizzas smaller? And the guy said, no, we've just changed our boxes. The pizzas just look smaller. I assure you they're the same size. And I had to climb down a little bit, but I still wasn't quite sure. So I don't think they should have changed the boxes if that's what really was going on.
Amazing.
I didn't have last week's pizza to compare it to, because I'd eaten it.
Did I hit you, brother? Because June bug ricocheted off the wall into me. I did try and keep
Oh, if you did, it was only a tiny little bit.
Okay.
You were sort of going sideways in front of me.
So slow for this corner, remember. Nice and tight, much tighter than that. Over here. Oh, it's slidey. Oh man, you kept up. I was hoping to lose you. I did that all quite loosely. So it's this bit I haven't quite got, because you've got to trail brake into the corner. So a little bit of braking and let off if it starts to pivot.
I just bounce off the wall every time. It's easy.
That
easy.
is an approach. Not all the walls, though. I saw that.
Yeah, I learnt that from you and Shalka on the last race. Smack the left wall, smack the right wall.
Limp over the line, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, if you smack into the wall reasonably squarely, it doesn't seem to be too bad.
Yeah, it's when you
hit it at a jaunty angle.
jaunty angle. Oh, another personal best, 900th of a second faster. And you're 1.8.
Last time you said that, you crashed straight afterwards.
I did. Yeah, there you go. Too busy looking to see what your time was.
Unimpressive.
No, you knocked 2 seconds off your best. That was awesome. And that's including 2 ricochets, which if you can edit them out, even better. Now you're close enough, so you're pushing me. If I make a mistake, you're gone. That was a slight mistake. Oh no, the car is feeling a bit lopsided. As I mentioned, you know, I went go-karting a couple of weeks ago with Rob. I really felt the crazy difference between a go-kart steering and this. This feels like a Cadillac or something. And I'm wondering if there are any steering wheels out there that aren't outrageously expensive but are very strong. Make it feel a bit more like a real car. As far as I know, that's only in the sort of £2,000 mark. Much more than I really want to be spending on a steering wheel, except for a real car.
My in-game steering wheel's got loads of play in it now, so it feels. It feels like it's about to come off in my hands.
Oh, how are your caster upgrades for your chair?
Oh, they're great. I mean, actually, they're not really glidey enough, to be honest, because I have to, if I want to move the chair, I have to take all my weight off it and push it. Because if I'm sitting on it, it doesn't move. I've got it on a floor protector thing.
Is it one from IKEA?
No, I think it was from Currys or something, or probably Amazon.
That is disappointing. It's the one from IKEA. It's called Colon.
Schalke, YouTube just showed me a montage of Conan O'Brien on Finnish TV shows. Do you know anything about that?
They had a stint when, like, he looked like the president at the time. They had a field day with that, and then he came over and all the stuff. I kinda know.
Okay.
Do you not have a king?
No, we don't. We are not medieval like some of the island nations.
Moldavia has a king. No idea. Monaco has a princess, and I assume they have a king as well.
I think we would be among the first to have, like, female heads of state. President. I guess is the prime minister more of the head of the states?
Yeah, well, we've
No.
had, yeah, well, the Queen is.
No, the Queen is the head
yeah.
of state.
She's been around for quite a while now. And also we have Margaret Thatcher in the 80s.
But for a republic, that's a little bit different.
Wait, are we a republic?
So isn't the prime minister like the prime of law? Or like government?
I love the phrase prime minister. I never really think about how ridiculous it sounds. You know, he's the first minister, the prime minister. And it vaguely sounds like it was named after Transformers.
Minister Prime.
Is that your steering wheel I can hear rattling very loudly? By the way?
Yeah, absolutely shaking to shit. Yeah, the thing is, Schalke, the Prime Minister doesn't have completely autonomous powers. There's lots of checks and balances. It's not to say they work right all the time, but he can't just do what he likes, especially if they have to scrape together a majority. Things are definitely much more of an uphill struggle getting stuff through. If they have a bit of a landslide, it's a hell of a lot easier because they can basically be uncontested.
Yeah, it's more a group thing for republics, but like if you want the head of the political wheel, you would like look at prime minister.
Is Finland a republic? I don't know what a
Doesn't
republic
exist.
is. I don't know what a republic is. What, the Republic of Finland? I've honestly no idea what the word republic means. It's something I just hear in Star Wars, and you know, it's a real word.
We elect our representatives, and we are
That was
ruled by government selected by the what's the words in English? House, single thing house. You England have like some kind of two-tier system where there's lords and some other peoples. And we only have one of those.
Yeah,
I guess
the Lords enact
like Lord
the
of the Flies.
laws. Or they ratify the laws, and then the ministers carry them out and propose laws, something like that.
Yeah, you elect people
What's
to
the
represent you.
Governor House about?
The what?
Don't you have the House of Lords and then the other house?
The House of
Yeah,
Parliament.
that's like an upper house. Yeah.
Yeah, the House of Lords, I believe, ratifies laws, and the ministers in Parliament, they put forward laws, and then the civil service, I guess, enacts.
Well,
the
the
laws.
thing
I'm
is,
not sure
Schalke,
what the-
as soon as you describe it, it immediately stinks because things go to the House of Lords, who can veto things. Whereas the House of Commons is made up of it's made up of elected officials. The House of Lords is certainly used to be almost entirely people there by their heritage and hereditary. They get in because their dad was a lord and that kind of thing.
Wow.
Years ago, it was changed to limit the number of like the amount of, what do they call them, hereditary peerages.
Really?
They put a bit of a,
Is that
not
still
completely.
around?
And
Wow.
because that gets contested. If you look into the history of that, you'd think that would be obvious that should go because it's just so obviously corrupt and needs to go. But it turns out difficult to make someone understand something when their livelihood depends on them not understanding it.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like.
I can kind of understand that if you have the king and queen and they are more like they don't have any political say, but if you have properly hereditary elements that are effect on the law, then the law is not made by selected people, which makes it very undemocratic.
Yeah,
for a law to come into effect, it has to get royal assent, which means, at least on paper, it goes to the Queen and she approves. But whether that in reality looks like she sits there and reads the whole thing, and then, she's probably thinking, this is just a farce. No one's buying this.
I think she always approves. I believe. I don't think it's any circumstance in living memory where she's not. The monarch hasn't approved it. In ceremony only.
Yeah, it's a bit like when the someone goes to offer themselves as the prime minister, because they won the election, and say, I'd like to form a government. I don't know this, but I'm guessing the Queen's never gone, no. No, you can't.
Yeah,
we do have a similar kind of thing that president has to sign off on the law, but if it's sent identically again by the parliament, then they have no option. And they have sent laws back, but they can't really hold it off.
And it goes into that box of weird political mechanisms like filibustering that just as soon as you describe it, you just know instinctively is horseshit.
Yes. There's an episode of Parks and Rec all about the filibuster, which was awesome.
It's been used to great effect a few times and abused many more times, I would say.
Yes. Yeah, it's always struck me as weird. Like, if I had to do a presentation to my boss and we ran out of time, he'd just go, we'll vote on half the presentation. He'd be like, well, we'll come back tomorrow until you finish the presentation, and then we vote. Like, these guys are lawmakers in the US and everything. It's like,
well, they don't vote. They don't vote on half the presentation, do they? They just go, well, that's it. We run out of time. On to the next issue.
Yeah, which is not.
And then the bill may never
see
the light of day again. That's what's so sad, is people pour their lives into trying to get something to a vote, only for someone else to destroy it with a filibuster.
I mean, having read a whole bunch on how the US law system works, it surprised me they get anything passed.
Yeah. Next up, gerrymandering.
Oh my god, what is that one is it in Texas? It's just insanity. One of the things. What was the thing? It's Steve Bannon. Again, he's obviously very guilty. There's no argument about that. But the votes to not impeach him, to get him to testify before Congress, were almost entirely down party lines. Like, you're not supposed to follow the whip. You're supposed to represent the interests of the people. And that is just, it just makes me sad. To be honest, a lot of government makes me sad. It's my favourite thing about Brexit is watching the light of democracy disappear from young people's eyes because they've realised the government do what the fuck they like and you can't do anything about it.
They don't realise.
I think they did when Brexit happened.
Before long, they'll be replaced with people who don't even remember that it could be better.
Not that long. It's going to be quite a while for people to forget what it was like.
The Tories have been in power for quite a long time.
Well, true. I thought you meant pre-Brexit.
No.
The problem is, I mean, I believe the BBC are required to have a comment from the opposing party. That's part of their remit. The problem is,
you have two-party system. Oh, that's also kind of backwards.
We have.
Well, they've got to have balance in everything. If they have a flat earther on they have a scientist on. They have to have a flat earther on.
Multi-party system because you have some kind of first-past-the-post system that favours two parties.
Well, we have lots of parties, but only 2.5 proper ones. But the point is, I was trying to make is every time I see anything the Conservative government do, Labour just go, "That's shit," or "We wouldn't do that," or "It's not enough." It's like, they never.
And sometimes they mock.
Yeah.
And try and make jokes. And I hate that. It's like, don't try and send it up with comedy. Just actually attack the principles and come up with something better.
Like, the government's not going far enough. They've just put blah 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 millions of dollars in pounds for this. It's not enough. And what they've never done, and that's what I feel they should have done, which is, the Conservatives done an excellent job on this. However, we would have done it much sooner. There's never any. Thank goodness. It can't be that everything the Conservative government does is wrong. That's just. It's close.
It's no problem, Shalka. I just recovered so well. I should have by rights have been on my roof a while ago. Somehow escaped.
Very dangerously. I have been taking it very safely, and I find that I'm like taking a good line when I take it safely.
I'm not. I'm giving it the beans.
Yes, well, there's no cash prizes for winning these races, so
but there is a
you might as well
record.
race for fun.
There's a permanent record, don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the party that is behind is the only real opposition thing, then they don't have pressure to do well on other things. When you have like proportional representation, then you have to be sane on the other axis than the main one.
We proposed proportional representation about 12 years ago, after some bizarre election results, like, the party that was getting voted for the least was still winning, and all sorts of horror. And I started to get propaganda through the post against it. I couldn't believe I didn't care much for the local elections, but I damn well voted on proportional representation.
That wasn't proportional representation that was voted on. There was a sort of referendum, but that was for AV, the alternative vote, which was a kind of hamstrung version of the same thing, wasn't it? So a lot of people would say, well, that's put the kibosh on PR, but it wasn't the right vote. It should have been a vote for PR.
No, but I was getting stuff through the post going, only 2 countries in the world use proportional representation, Malaysia and Australia are thinking of cancelling it. I'm like, what sort of like, why am I receiving propaganda? Who doesn't want this to happen? I just did an extra lap by accident. I was so angry at our government.
I don't think that's anything like true anyway, but it might be true that only a couple of countries use AV.
Yes. No, it's it's not in the government who is in power's interest to change it because they got into power.
I guess if you have a new system, then all bets are off, but it's more like devil you know kind of system that have used the old political system.
Yeah, I think.
Well, first past the post suits A, the Tories, and B, the party that's in power currently.
I think Douglas Adams summed it up, which is basically that anyone who wants to be in power shouldn't be allowed to. Didn't
Hitler get into power and then immediately make elections illegal or something like that.
I mean,
We
that's
kind
what...
of quickly outlawed, yeah, political parties, or like political parties other than the one.
Yes, that's a power move if ever there was one.
I guess. And I guess the surprising thing is that they got away with it and like the populace approved.
Yeah, that's weird, but then that's what happens with a great bit of oration.
Shaka, this is going to go wrong, isn't it?
Hopefully.
Yeah, I am. I'm not only close, I'm catching him up, and he's on the wrong side of the road. And everyone's wrong. Awesome.
I was less wrong than you got.
I didn't wipe, I have partial progress.
Schalke.
Huh? You
Oh,
tried to
my-
partner me? Huh? Huh?
My heart was going after that bloody lap, I'll tell you.
Sorry, you had the parallelness.
That's exactly what I thought.
He's down with
I
the
didn't give.
parallelness. Oh, drift. That's bumpy. Oh, I don't think so, Mr. Junebug. I don't think so. Or is that Schalke behind me? No, it is 88 Junebug. Okay, this is going to go wrong. I know it. Yep. Oh! Whoa, I got... That might be one for the replay. I messed it up, and then he was trying to overtake me. It's definitely not safe to do so. I think he wrecked his car over doing it though. Oh yeah, my car is not happy. Poor car. Have you seen the new headsets coming out by the wayside? The Vive, whatever it's called, Relax or something. It's a significantly less intrusive headset.
Posted that. The HTC one with the stock images with something photoshopped over them. Looks like a big pair of weird future sunglasses.
It does. I mean, that's one of the things. You do want VR headsets that are less and less intrusive as time goes on. And I'm very curious to see what sort of advancements are coming. And I think you've proved that wireless VR is demonstrably fine.
Yes. You mean when you're streaming the image?
Yeah, I mean, I'm streaming the image technically, but I am streaming it down an expensive cable. I haven't tried the wireless yet because I don't have any need to, but it's obviously a thing. And even if you do get the occasional macro blocking, it's fine. The issue is you then got to stick a battery in the headset, and sticking a battery in the headset makes it heavier.
So are you using, what's it called, Link?
Yes.
Air Link? No, that's the wireless one.
Just
What's it called when you just use USB?
Oculus
Link, yeah. Right. I know it's 15 quid, but I highly recommend you try Virtual Desktop instead. It's got more options, and I think it's better.
But remember, I am strapped into a chair, so the cable just runs up along the chair. So it's, in this sense, it's fine. Wireless wouldn't gain me anything, apart from the battery rate. Quicker.
It's not that. It's the fact that the streaming client in Virtual Desktop is, and the streamer on the other end is better than the Oculus one.
How?
Better image quality.
What, than the cable?
Yeah.
I mean, there's on greens. If I'm particularly picky, I can see a little bit of artifacting, a little bit of that JPEG rainbow, but it's only incredibly minimal. Like the image quality, I have genuinely no issue with the image quality. I think it's very good. It's not as good as the G2, which is an uncompressed image, but that's the nature of compressed images, unfortunately. But I assume they compress it harder for remote streaming, or is it? Because it's not really. I mean, I think this is 3.2 gigabit video. I've got it set to.
I've got mine on. Let me see what it's set to.
I'd like to believe that if Virtual Desktop does it better, Facebook will just start doing it like that. Now, I'd like to believe that companies are on
the moment they don't.
Yeah.
At the moment they don't.
Oh, are you talking about the Virtual Desktop stuff is better than the built-in Oculus wireless?
Exactly. It's better than the built-in wireless, but I think it's better than the Oculus Link over USB as well, because it's just got a nicer front end. I mean, it's got a VR bitrate slider. I've currently got it on 50 megabit, but you can go up to 136.
That's very low, though. That's not high. That's why I'm expressing surprise. I mean, I'm running into gigabits here, and I'm very surprised that that's not high. I mean, it's high resolution, two heads, two eyes. No, I should have to give it a bash. I think I've got Virtual Desktop already.
As you say, if you're sitting in a chair anyway, you don't benefit from being wireless. So
yeah,
if you're streaming games, room scale and stuff to it, it's way better than Oculus Air Link.
I just kind of wish that this headset was capable of running off of USB and the battery was trivially removable. And the heatsink. You know, most of the time, I'd like the option to make the headset lighter. Not that it's
I've never had it run out whilst it's plugged in though.
Well, yeah, but then if you're streaming to it wirelessly while it's plugged in, I'd like to point out there's an issue. There's a bit of a dichotomy going on there.
Well, it's not. If it's not plugged into a computer, it's just plugged into the power brick.
Yeah,
I'm streaming to it.
I guess that's slightly more.
The computer's in France.
Well, in your case, that would be a long home, wouldn't it? Yeah, you're right. I'm happy to switch to a different car and track, by the way, because I'm fucking thrashing you all on this. I found my niche. You want to try something different? I'll take the silence as a yes.
I was going to say it's just the last bits. It's just the last 2 meters between the Wi-Fi 6 router and my headset. But that wouldn't be true because, of course, it's a 5G router. So quite a lot of it is wireless, and it's still great.
Well, let's try gold because it looks like we've not done gold before, and we'll do gold in the. So click on the car. Do gold in the. Let's hit the XFR, and then I shall just go, and then that should hopefully kick you all off the. There we go. That should kick you all off, and then kick you into the same car I'm in. So we've not done this trap before. I should just wait for people to pick the car, and then we should restart.
Let's do my colours then.
This has a wreck-fest crossing, or is that an actual safe crossing?
I suspect there's a bridge, because this is not Wreckfest. But I don't know that, and we'll find out when we get down. But remember, this is not the same track, so bear in mind, you probably want to glance at the top left a little bit, or you're quite likely to go the wrong way when it changes. Oh, this car feels so different. Wow, it feels so different to the Mini. Like heavy and understeery. So it's straight on here, so we haven't got that nasty right-hand turn, okay. I've no idea how fast these corners are, Shao, because I am going quite slowly. This looks fast. Oh, it's a railway bridge. Okay, sharp left coming up. Oh, very sharp left coming up. Then we're going to lose a lot of altitude here to get underneath the bridge. I think I'm getting the hang of drifting these things, like sliding them around corners, like slightly faster than the maximum speed, which means you come out on the outside of the corner, which is what you want. Never mind, I've just hit the grass. Taking it. Whoa! What the hell happened there?
It's not freezing.
You want me to... No, wait, hold on. When it's freeze, surely it means don't change your current velocity, not slam on the brakes in the middle of the road.
I do think it's still...
I made... Well, so you want me to...
No,
surprise you by changing my velocity? I mean, I purposely didn't do anything then. So you weren't...
Yeah, change it to 0. Like, just stop dead, then I can drive. I can choose to drive to the left of you or the right of you. If you're rolling backwards slowly, I don't know if you're about to stop or not.
Backwards would be changing direction, but if you like slow down, I think you might be okay to speed back up rather than slowing to halt.
Yeah. In this case, I didn't want to suddenly stop, because if you were assuming I was going to carry on, obviously in front of me, a gap's opening up. If I slam on,
yeah, but
you might suddenly
stopping's better because then it doesn't involve mind reading.
But it means that you can't predict what I'm going to do. You're hoping.
But you just stick to the rule of, instead of rolling slowly across the track, you just stop, so that you freeze. That's more predictable than any other option.
I guess if the condition on when you have crashed is clear, but when that line gets blurry, then that gets the mind reading going again.
Well, I was going backwards at the time, and I had spun and I was drifting backwards. But I didn't want to stop, because if I'd stopped, I would have beached myself in the middle of the track. So I didn't feel was safe.
And then I can drive left or right of you?
Well, not necessarily. You might not have had that option.
But at least you'd have stopped.
Yeah, but I was... if I'm moving, one side of me is very obviously clear, one side of me is very obviously dangerous. And I was heading towards the inside of the corner.
Well, how about we agree that freeze means freeze, and that way you don't have to do any of the guessing.
How about freeze means do not interact with the controls? Like, don't do anything. Whereas there's Mia, she needs to be the tiebreaker.
Well, that would probably be okay as well. It's just that that's not what we've been doing before now. We've been attempting to freeze so that you're a stationary object.
I genuinely feel if I was in a real race situation and I decided to stop my car in the middle of the track, I would get a 3-race suspension. I genuinely feel I would get into proper trouble for that, because that's dangerous. I'm making myself an obstacle rather than trying to get out of the way.
So, Xiaoko, in all your videos where you've flagged up your victims freeze, what were you expecting them to do?
It's more clear when they are like wiped out and like when they can start to get back into the race, when they have clearly the option of staying stationary. I think the ruling is about if you come stop on the road, then you should
freeze.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't start to make yourself unpredictable. Yeah. No, I mean, again, I don't know. I would feel that if I had, I mean, you could say if I braked then, I've just made myself an obstacle on purpose, which is definitely not within the rules.
Yeah, well, as you said, you know, you could say, well, don't interact with the car at all, and I agree that would be reasonable. It's just that you have to choose one of those two options, and everyone has to subscribe to the same thing, otherwise it's unpredictable again. And quite frankly, if you've stopped, that's easier for me to figure out what to do than if you're rolling, because then I have to take into account like the angle of your wheels and so on.
The puzzle of how to predictably make a crash situation into not a crash situation is quite tricky. Like, one could think that if you are off-road that you should come on-road, but then surprise entry on the road is dangerous. And
But yeah, I definitely agree. You shouldn't start to move when it will cause other road users to avoid you. But should I also stop moving? Whoa! I forgot these cars had anti-lock brakes. When I braked, I just went in a straight line. I think our discussion was moot, by the way, Sai, because the correct thing is to do is not be in that situation, which is what Schalke has done, which is why he's like half a lap ahead of us.
Or if you look at what just happened then when I wiped in front of you,
Yeah.
I was a moving target, but then it wasn't at the point where I could choose whether to be stationary or not.
Yes.
And that's the point. Once if you're still wiping, then all bets are off. If you are now, you come to a gentle roll across the track, then you've got two options. You can either freeze, or you can do something like completely let go of the controls and let Jesus take the wheel or something. But you've got to choose one of those two and all agree to it.
Yeah, I think in reality, most railroad drivers, in my case, would have just full locked right and tried to spin the car around no matter who's coming.
I think the rule about what I call the combo breaker is that if you are wiping, then your priority is to do the safe thing, and you lose the right to do the fast thing.
I've got my prioritize occupant switch set to me. Which, if we're honest, as humans, I think we all have that switch on.
Not necessarily.
That's not true. I once ran over a dog rather than hit an old lady and broke my bike.
Why did you not want to run over the old lady?
Because she's a human. That's not true. I totally go for the old lady over the dog.
Humans are partly eusocial, even though ants are more eusocial. And I was watching a YouTube video about why humans have menopause, and it explained it that a grandmother versus a young female, if everybody gets babies, they all might starve. So there's a coordination going on where the grandmother wishes to have children in order for the woman that is making babies with their child gets to keep the babies.
I don't think whoever wrote that has a very good idea of the speed of evolution versus the speed of medical science, I'm afraid. The reason we have the menopause is people are now living a lot longer than they were. We were never... Evolution has had no part in what happens past about age 25 or something. Everything there is just how it was. 5,000 years ago, no one lived to be 100. That was not a thing. Now it's relatively common.
Have you ever seen
that? They were quite informed. I think it was for the Royal Institute, some speakers, so it didn't seem like the most clueless of speakers.
But
have you seen that viral video of someone setting up a little wooden train set as a trolley problem for their kid, and they've got one person across one fork in the track and four people across the other fork in the track, and they put the train on it and say to the kid, right, what are you going to do? And so the kid quite sweetly clears one side of the track by picking up the sole person, moving them to the other fork, and then undoes it all by driving the train over all six of them.
I don't know how much evolution would actually require. I would think maybe 70,000 years, maybe, or is that
sure? That's fine. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You need many births and the law of averages to do everything. But like I said, there was no concept of people giving. I mean, people living into their 40s is still a relatively modern thing to happen, except in particularly unusual cases. Like I said, even if you go back 500 years, our life expectancy was horrendous because some people died in childbirth. But yeah, it's a question of whether or not more viable births is more important to the survival of the species than genetic diversity, and that I have no opinion on. I am not clued up enough.
Not down with the kids.
Well, yes, quite literally.
It's an interesting way that I took that corner.
That was, I mean, you kept in front. Oh, wrong gear. That was a bad noise from the engine. Yes, drifting. So yeah, my mum. I fooled you just by braking. Yeah, so my mum's come up from Cornwall and stay with my sister at the moment, and she'll be over next week. So I will be looking after her for a bit. And then when she goes, Mike is going to come over and help me build the motion platform upgrade, because it is a two-man job. And then hopefully I should get all of the dimensions of freedom. Direction.
What access are you gaining?
Surge, sway. I've forgotten. Hold on. So currently I've got roll, pitch, and yaw. I don't have heave, surge, and sway. So sway is left to right translation.
Lateral.
Surge is front to back movement, and heave is up and down movement.
And you will be heaving.
Oh no, I'm looking forward to it. No, as I said, I apart from the open wheelers, I just do not suffer from motion sickness in the motion rig. Without it, it feels bizarre. It feels utterly weird, like there's just well, there are literally, but it feels like there are sensations missing, which of course is what's happening. But it made such a difference, and I'm just so happy with it. Because it was making me sad, because I was a very early adopter of VR, and I think it helped me get very attuned to when I was going to feel sick, which is annoying because I'd stopped very soon, and I was getting quite sad that this beautiful and amazing technology that I love to bits I couldn't use. And
play poker. Poker's awesome in VR.
I could play poker, but I like driving cars, so it was important to me that I could do the thing I wanted. Yeah, I liked it, and I can.
I'm getting parallel.
Oh, that's all getting a bit horrible out there.
How's that parallelism?
That was
parallelism.
So, Jack, do I have to give you room? Damn it, you're in front. Yeah, I do. I got.
No! Woof, woof, woof.
So if you do put a car up on two wheels, there are two directions you can steer, and one of them will always bring the car back down very quickly. It's a good skill to get, maybe not for a real car, but for this game, it's quite a good skill to have on absolute reflex. In fact, it's so reflex, I'm trying to struggle to tell you which way to steer. But one way will drop the car back down on its wheels straight away.
Towards the top of the car, I guess.
Yes, yes. I had to imagine that in my head several times then. Too fast. Much too fast, Joker. It's amazing, isn't it? If someone screws up in front of you, how often you just end up copying them.
Power of suggestion.
I made a different mistake. I make my own mistakes.
But that looked like my mistake, only faster. And part of it is this car, it doesn't have anti-lock brakes, so if you brake too hard, the car just goes in a straight line. So 50% braking is better to get out of trouble than not 100%. Yeah, I should be sad to see my bike go. I I sadly get quite anthropomorphically attached to cars. But,
yeah, we all do that.
Not everybody does to the same extent.
No, I do way too much. But I've had 18 fairly half-assed months with my bike, what with COVID and everything. But I do not feel, to quote Marie Kondo, that bike sparks joy in the same way that my Cruiser does. The Cruiser is just this... It sounds like a little explosion factory driving around, and it brings up a massive smile to my face, especially in tunnels. It's not particularly fast. It is very comfy. But the Ninja just scares me, I think, more than inspires me. And of course, if I change my mind, I can always just buy it back from the bike shop, I guess. No, Shaka. Did you? I just put it on 2 wheels just to show you. I put it back down, and you did it wrong. Yeah, Shaka high-sided it at quite an impressive rate there. And I'm gonna have to really pull all the stops at the cat's side. I suspect it's not gonna happen.
Let me win! Damn it!
Absolutely, I will not. If you're winning, it's because you've earned it. Maybe not because you could deserve it, but it's not a bad second. Oh, that was good. You're a bit bigger now. 2 good corners. This is the one that gets me.
No! I fucked it!
Am I carrying more speed than you? Little bit.
Oh god, I think my car's gone squiffy.
Good.
Evil.
This is the corner that I keep fucking up. I keep going too fast. And then this long left-hander I keep going too wide on. Yeah, like that. No! You got in the way!
Good.
Right, shortcut!
Whoa!
I did not go.
Rude.
I did not go according to plan. Ah, damn. I was going faster than you, and you went a bit wide, and then you came right in front of me. There's nothing I could do other than brake, or I would have had.
Ah, well,
damn
sucks
it.
to be you.
It does. If my shortcut was a little bit better thought out, I might have beaten you. But it wasn't.
Well, I should just uninstall the game now because I'll never repeat that.
Well, that's the goal: is to get your skill ceiling. Your skill ceiling's above mine, so you just need to get that. Right, you've beaten me at this game, and I've been playing it for like a decade more. So therefore, your skill ceiling is going to be above mine.
Well, I have just upgraded to an i7.
Oh wow! I could downgrade to an i7.
9%
Did it ever
quicker.
help?
Well, try anything, try everything.
I can try not crashing the car during the race.
I've decided to stop drinking caffeine,
That won't help.
and I've now got the headache that I knew would come.
I find
need a coffee.
if I give up caffeine, and I do it sometimes, I've just got the new caffeine-free Pepsi Max, which is actually very good.
Yes.
I don't get any caffeine headaches. I find I sleep better, a lot better, but I find it harder to wake up. So I kind of I sleep deeper, and then it's more of a struggle to get back out of the sleep.
I'm really, really good at sleeping.
Well, I'm not. My worst skill. It's like I've min-maxed charisma and handsomeness, and just failed to put any points in sleeping. I guess you did the opposite, but yeah, it's fair. Now my problem is I can't switch my brain off. I just can't. Like thoughts. So someone asked me, how do you come up with your ideas for computer games all the time? And I sort of said, well, I have the opposite issue. I'm there trying to get to sleep, and fully formed ideas for games crystallize in my mind. when I'm trying to get to sleep, which is horrible. I mean, you know, I just want to be able to switch off, and I've never ever mastered it. Except, and I might mention this before, the only time I find it very hard to think is when I'm riding a motorbike, because there's not enough brain left over after keeping myself alive to daydream. Driving a car, no problem. I can visualise cutscenes while driving along. Cars are quite low demand.
Just imagine all the ideas you'll have in your Tesla in a few years.
Yes,
It drives itself.
Well, then I can just grab my laptop and write it down. Oh, I got more speed than Schalke. I've got more speed. The slight overlap.
I've definitely solved nagging problems in my sleep, or at least it feels like it's in my sleep, because I'll wake up with solutions. That's quite common.
Yes, I like that. I wake up, my brain goes, you know, you're not putting a lock around that thread core. I'm like, oh, of course. I wasn't even thinking about that. My subconscious sentries went off for 6 weeks and had to think about a problem I'd forgotten about.
It's brilliant starting the day when you've had a solution pop into your head.
Well, in your case,
since
I
you
hope.
broke off.
In your case, I hope they're work-related solutions and some good comes of it. For me,
I have hobbies.
Well, yeah, but my point is.
Not like you, where work and hobbies are the same thing.
Well, you have a more meaningful job than me. Whereas, you know, you cure sick children, whereas I work at the ice cream factory.
Ice cream. Right, I'm going to stop after this one. I might come back in a bit. What time is it? Yeah, I might be back.
What time is
I
it?
need to go and get a drink and stuff. It is 10:30.
I would recommend, if you are trying to give up caffeine, do drink decaffeinated coffee, as I'm pretty sure that was my trick.
Oh my god, of course.
Because...
I've ordered a load. There's no way I'm giving up coffee. Just cutting caffeine down.
Yeah, but I mean, I drink caffeine-free Pepsi Max, and I was drinking 6 cups of coffee in the morning. Well, I still am, but now it's 6 cups of decaf coffee. So I worked out that's probably not good for me. But I think there might be a bit
don't feel
of
like I get a lot out of caffeine. Yeah, I've never really felt like I've got a lot out of caffeine. I like coffee. Taste.
Yeah. After about 6 months of giving up caffeine, you'll have a can of Coke, and you'll get a buzzy like, oh, I remember why I liked caffeine. So yeah, you do get inured to the effect.
I've given it up several times before. I'm very familiar with the comings and goings of tolerance.
It's nice when there's no tolerance.
It's kind of weird that the very light psychoactive things, like energy drinks, are starting to get like a restriction that under 15-year-olds are not served.
Yeah, in the same here. Like a friend of mine, she got carded for buying an energy drink, and I was, I was like, really? Like, she's a lovely lady, but she doesn't look 15. And I'm like,
maybe she just looked wired.
Mate, oh, Schalke, careful! Oh, no, that was me to be careful. Right, you go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, sir. I can't serve you any more energy drink. You appear to be already fully alert.
But yeah, I was a bit confused when they got carded. I'm like, it's just Red Bull. Like, oh, yeah, I didn't realise. Me not being 16, I didn't realise that we had started to restrict this. Bugger. Oh, I overtook you so nicely, and then I was so concerned with not cutting you up, I messed the corner up.
Right, maybe back in a bit.
Okie dokie.
So shall we?
I will probably not be going very long, as I have to get up early tomorrow. I have a long day, and at the end of it is steak and tune, so should be a good day with that luck. Have you seen the Squid Game yet, by the way, Schalke?
I have not. I have heard a lot about it.
I do. There's a reason it's doing so well, and I very, very much do recommend it.
Yeah, it's quite fun to watch, I like it.
You're on episode 5.
It's horrible to watch.
And you say it's fun to watch. Yeah, okay. We'll chat in a day or so, Si, and we'll see what you think. We'll see if you're like, what's fun? It's not the good place. Schalke! No! Go squish!
What? You think you have parallel?
You just...
I guess I could use my mirrors.
A little bit.
Yes, nice dude.
To be fair, we are very much pushing both these cars to their limits. There's not a lot of room for error, which is how it should be.
Yeah, it's much more interesting when you are in interaction range. No,
Yeah.
boom.
I did the same thing, but... Oh! Yes! Come on! Mighty steed! I just managed to get going quicker than you there. But see, that's the correct line, like that, not like I did it before. That's right, there are two corners that I am weak on coming up, so you're still in with a chance. That's number one. This is number two. Slow out. Power on the apex. Well, considering that I'm in front, I can do this. I reckon it's not very safe. I do wonder though if that. There's a reason I did it on the last lap, is it will knacker your car up. Should we put a few AI on, by the way, because it's just you and me? Are you happy with the mano a mano battle?
I am happy with the mano.
So yeah, the thing about that shortcut is it's a little bit sketchy, and not very. I'm not very much in control. But I reckon it could be there on the last lap if you just want to gain a second on someone. And if it's a really good lap, do it and see if you can get your new lap record. Which is 1:32, apparently. Oh, tyres. Do you run with the racing line on, by the way?
No.
Okay. I'm just curious if the line you were taking was, you know, the correct one, and I should be copying it more.
And wasn't the issue with this game that the racing line is not the correct one?
Yeah, the braking points. Sorry, foot flat to the floor. The braking points probably aren't right, but the line. It only changes a bit, but the main thing about the racing is it will show you whether or not to treat like a series of corners as one corner and stuff like that. Like this corner coming up, I don't know whether or not I should go very wide to the right before starting it or just to the middle of the track.
I guess that would... And I'm joining on full.
That's alright. I mean, I have right of way, but I assume that a racer will be trying to get back on track. I mean, obviously, as someone who's made a mistake, you want to lose the fewest number of places possible. And that's really important. You don't want to go just wait for the entire pack to go. The moment you can get back on and go, you will.
Yeah, but that's the cross pressure and the rules obligating the safety or sanity.
Yes.
We'll
But you
counter that.
But you can always err on the side of caution a bit, saying, you know, I can go now, or you can wait till it's completely safe. One of those is going to win your races, and one of those won't.
And one of those is gonna keep you alive. And
have you ever met a race car driver? Because that's quite a long way down their list of priorities often. In fact, I mentioned this before, there's oh no! Oh, it's broken, it's not doing anything. So perhaps there, Schalke, you should have braked seeing that I was having an issue. And that's it, I'm out. I can't reverse, I can't accelerate. It's totally gone. Yeah,
How about that keeping alive?
Yeah, no, I was fine. It was you that killed me. I was fine after the wall, I think.
Oh.
I watched a film called Free Solo, which is a guy called Alex somebody or other, and he climbs up hills and mountains and cliffs by himself with no ropes. It's terrifying. They actually did an MRI on him, and they said that essentially the part of his brain that triggers danger is just not there, or it's withered away. And apparently this is fairly common amongst the very best, like racing car drivers and stuff, because that's the reason they're so good. Not because they're necessarily talented, they are, but a lot of it is they don't have much or any fear of death, or danger, or the scared reflex. This is gonna hurt. They just go. And having been lucky enough to have a drive with Colin McRae, he went round corners, like not better than everyone else, but just faster. Like he just wouldn't let off the accelerator because he just didn't have that part of his brain. So yeah, that's why I, to a degree, the rules are there for safety, because what the racers do care about is winning, almost invariably, but not necessarily about their own safety, not as much as winning. Hence why you see some of these, I'll say, fantastic crashes in F1 where getting in front of your opponent is more important than doing anything safely. Although in VR, I think you do get a lot more sense of self-preservation, because it's very very real feeling.
Maybe it will damage the sense of danger if you get exposed. Or are you just calm in a real danger situation?
So bear in mind, I did just trade in my I'm about to trade in my terrifying motorbike. So perhaps I don't feel it does. Having spun car, I guess I've spun half a dozen times on racetrack. Normally you're very calm. The worst thing you can do is scream and panic. So, you know, I have made a mistake. I have run out of skill, as the phrase goes. And usually I'm very calmly trying to either regain control or get the car off the track. You know, panicking is the absolute worst thing you can do, closely followed by slamming on the brakes. So yeah, usually I've got one on YouTube, one of my spins, and I was just very calm. I was like, oh, yeah, messed that up. I guess partly because, you know, even more so as a motorbike rider, you cannot panic. Panicking is where you grab controls, and grabbing controls is where you end up in hospital. So everything you do, even your panic situations, must be calm and measured. Always. I've said, pull in the clutch, take a third of a second to decide what your actions are going to be, and then action it. You know, once you've decided, then hopefully by that point you'll apply the brakes carefully. Damn, you're locking the wheels up. Yeah, there you go. Don't keep it at low revs. Don't over rev it. Keep it at low revs. Stop revving it. Go slowly. Oh, you really have got it beached. Is backwards working? No. Accelerate very, very slowly, very gently, like as slow as a minimum you can manage, so the wheels are spinning. A little bit more. And zigzag left to right. There we go. But not too much revs. There we go. You're moving. I mean, you can try putting it up into 5th gear and keep your foot down and see what happens. Don't touch the brake though. No, like whilst wheel spinning, like, go up through the gears. There we go, now you got some speed. What's your speed registering as?
200 kilometers.
Nice. It'll get less deep in a moment. Yeah, there we go. Now, well done on fixing it, but I don't think this is going to be a lap record somehow. Hey, Manny Jordan 92, how are you doing? We're just watching. I crashed my car, and I'm just watching Schalke. Bear in mind, by the way, you're doing like your wheels are doing like 300 kilometers an hour. I was hoping Ira Knight would join us, but apparently he hasn't. I think he'll be there on Sunday, he said. Is your car broken? Is it alright? It sounds broken.
No, it sounds broken, so no,
yeah.
It's a
when I said
for survival.
Or when I said your car's doing 300 kilometers an hour, what will happen is as you hit the road, all that force goes through your clutch, and you probably just, the simulator, you've burned all the friction material off the clutch because you've just tried to resolve 300 kilometers an hour wheels with 10 kilometers an hour track. But just keep your revs low, you'll be fine.
It feels like it's gonna be a dramatic whether it wears out. I guess uphill, but it's gonna be uphill on the rest of the track or not.
It's mode. No, there is a bit of up, which is there. That's uphill. Oh, that's not looking so healthy.
53, 52.
I keep it at lower revs. Put it up a gear.
I am on 6th.
Oh, and is it slipping? Oh, maybe. But yeah, keep the revs very low. If the revs go high, just don't let it, keep it down. Like keep the revs at like 2,000. I used to have an Impreza with a clutch that was on its way out. So I when you put your foot down, the revs just go.
35.
You can do it. I should have just pitted and carried on. I regret giving up. Oh, that looks very slow.
$20.
Gotta keep the revs low. Don't get the revs high. I can hear it. Low revs will grip, high revs will slip. Like, cause it's about the power you're putting through.
12 kilometers per hour.
This is some thrilling content we're making there. No, you're not. You're gonna come to a halt on the straight. Don't rev it. You're making it worse. Keep the revs low. Nothing. No. Well.
Nothing. Didn't make it.
You did not. Oh, and I need to join. Oh! To be fair, I didn't make it either, but I didn't make it first. Trendsetter, what can I say? But yeah, this will probably be my last race. I do have a little bit of work. I am infused by my new project as I finally got a coming together of a good idea, an idea I'm excited about, not just one I've had, and some synergy with the Fortresscraft player base, and I'll be using a lot of Fortresscraft Phoenix assets so I can get them done up in advance of Phoenix. So that's my I kind of left it at a pretty bad point today, so I need to just sort of fix that. If you are on the Sneaky Spaceships build, feel free to have a look. Nothing works yet, but it is all vaguely coming together.
Ooh.
Ooh, that was close on the right, my goodness me. No. Terrible, sorry. Did not mean to cut you up.
No.
I meant to cut in, and then I just slid. That was good. That was good.
I took it a little differently and that felt much better.
Yes, you just clipped the curb. Your car was a little bit unsettled. No, no, no.
Also, that sand pit is here, like, because all the cars follow. No!
Ah, wrong gear. I ended up in third. Should have been in second. It's quite a good track, this one, actually, though. It's got some nice fast bits and some evil corners.
Yeah.
I didn't have substantial luck going into the corner, but I did coming out. Had to get out of the way a bit there. But usually what happens is it's one of these two corners I get a bit overexcited. Oh, new records all around there. I get a bit excited and I end up going very wide.
That was the first fast lap.
That was... I don't know where you are. Oh, too fast. Oh god, you're not there. I was panicking you were still beside me.
And coming up.
Yeah, in your dreams. Bye. Yes. Now this is the corner I mess up. Like that. Yeah, lock the wheels up.
And I avoid contact.
Good.
Ooh.
See, I took it slower than I would have normally. I knew you were behind me. There's no scope for you to overtake. So I took that, I messed up, but I took it slower, so I knew that I was... I took it slowly, so I knew that you'd have to slow down. I could come out properly. I understand that I did rejoin at full speed, but I was on grass and I couldn't do anything apart from drive straight.
Yeah, you were sufficiently madman that my instincts were to let you wreck yourself.
Well, there's nothing I could do. I said braking on grass achieves very little. Oh, bugger! I think you've got this one. I've just messed up again. But you can just drive slowly. No need to rush.
Maybe you should make me go fast and wipe. You think you have better chance of catching up if you make me go slow and stable?
Yeah, because obviously there are a couple of corners that like that one. Oh, that was good. I thought I'd overdid it, but it was actually about perfect. Yeah, I made quite a lot of ground on you there. Won't be enough. Oh no, we have another lap. Maybe it will be. No. Messed that one up. See, in real racing, if you take a shortcut that gains you ground, you'll get like 30 seconds or disqualification out of it. So yeah, in real racing, it is not a thing. You cannot take a shortcut off the track. The marshals will absolutely just run through the look at you. But I'm surprised in this they didn't just put tyres to stop you taking those shortcuts.
I think they have an approach where they're like providing people with the engine, and I think the social layer do a lot of the actual management.
Yeah. But I mean, there's the argument. It's not in the rules, so therefore it's fine. Hey, it's Bounce Cowboy. Whoa, no! Oh!
Are you dead?
I am having trouble. I'm gonna not win. I am gonna finish the race, but I rolled the car quite badly, and it just dropped back onto its wheels. I'm having to lean in my chair. The car doesn't sit flat. So how does it look from your point of view?
You have a dent.
A tent.
Definitely damage, but not to the comical extent.
Awesome. Well, I am going to stop there. As I said, I need to be up early tomorrow. I should be around Sunday. I suspect not tomorrow. And hopefully before long, we should be doing, it needs a name, Game Without a Name on the channel, because I'm quite excited about this as a project for once. So yeah, thank you for watching. Sorry it's been so long. Life has been as life is, and we will be back most likely on Sunday for more driving in circles. Night night.